How's it, guys? This is Dayvy FPL and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video we're going to be going over my Game Week 16 team selection as well as a little bit of a reflection on how my squad is getting on in Game Week 15. Then we're going to turn our attention to my transfer options for the upcoming game week. I know the team on screen here, the dream team, is not the completed dream team. I'm having to record this video on Thursday afternoon before the Sheffield United and Arsenal fixture, so apologies for that. But with a quick turnaround of Game Week 15 and Game Week 16 being so short, I'm just having to do this for timing reasons. So hopefully that Sheffield United and Arsenal game is everything that our expectations are kind of leading up to, and the players we own do quite well. So hopefully that game doesn't have too many talking points, and I'm pretty sure that most of my players will come unscathed and uninjured from that, and then we can kind of still keep the same transfer options that we're talking about in this video. But let's get on to how the dream team is performing. We have had our first sponsorship on the Dayvy FPL channel, so thanks a lot to OneFootball. OneFootball is a footballing app that gives you live notifications of the games that you're following, so it makes the perfect FPL companion app, and I've been using it for a couple of years now, and that's why I was happy to do a sponsorship with them as I use the product. So down below there's a link for all you need to know about OneFootball. You can go download the app on iOS or Android. It's completely free, so no commission or anything here, so you don't have to worry about that, but I use it, so should you. So as you can see on screen, highly owned players in this week's dream team so far, but they're probably going to be on most people's benches. We have the likes of Rico and Dendonka getting 9 and 11 points respectively. But unfortunately, they're probably, as I said, going to be on most people's benches. There are those lucky few, you might be one of them, that are getting these players off for the likes of SALAH, Chilwell and Martial, who all did not play this game week. So congratulations if you're one of those lucky ones. That's the thing about having a nice bench. You can always get those players on if maybe there is some rest and rotation around this Christmas period. But there also are some other interesting players here. Guaita with 8 points. I know a lot of people transferred him in for the likes of Nick Pope and Matt Ryan, as their fixtures are becoming a little bit worse. So even if you brought Guaita in for a hit, it looks like that has paid off there. So well done if you did bring him in. We also have some nice highly owned players with Sadio Mane and James Maddison there with 15 and 10 points as well. So a lot of people are going to be happy about that. We have Schlupp with 10 points. Maybe if we did change that name to Zaha, a lot more people would be a lot happier this game week, but that's just sometimes how it is. And then we also have the likes of Rashford with 2 goals against Spurs, helping them to get their victory over their London rivals. So that is quite a nice sight there for Rashford, as he seems to be regaining a lot of form there with those 2 goals, and definitely want to watch a little bit more of a differential now, as I know a lot of people have kind of negated Man United options. We also have the likes of Jesus there. A couple of people brought him in for Abraham, so it's really nice to see that the people that transferred out Abraham and those who kept him basically both had good returns there. So a little bit of a happy medium there for those who transferred out Abraham and those who did keep him. But otherwise, hopefully there are a couple of more players in here from tonight's fixtures. I'm thinking of the likes of maybe Lundstrom, and hopefully the player I do own, Matt Ryan. But we'll get onto that now as we look on how my team did. And spoiler alert, I don't think it's going to be that good of a game week for my squad. But let's get on and see how many points I have so far. So as you can see on screen there, 38 points, so far below the average of 42. But I'm really hoping that my players playing tonight hopefully boost me up the ranks a little bit. As you can see on screen there, we've fallen from about the 65k mark to about the 140k mark. So pushing us outside that 100k mark, which is quite disappointing. But don't worry guys, I figured out why I did play so badly with my FPL squad this week. I shaved my Movember mustache the day before the fixture, so I think that was my good luck charm, and hopefully it grows back before the likes of Game Week 16 and we can have another green arrow. But in all seriousness, I think this is just one of those game weeks for my squad where not owning one player yet again has seen me drop down the ranks. We'll talk about who that player is when we do the reflection of the team. But I think this is just one of those game weeks, as I said, sometimes in FPL you're king of the world and the next game week you are absolutely on the bottom. So I think hopefully we can rebound from this game week, and the game week's not over yet, so I am holding thumbs. I will update down in the comments where my rank is at the end of this game week, as I will be releasing this video tomorrow when everything is finalized. But going on to how the squad has performed this game week, as you can see in goal there, Ryan against Arsenal has not performed yet, so not going to spend too much time on him, as if I say I really hope he does well and then he does badly, I'm going to look like quite a fool. So we'll just move on from here. We have Robertson with 1 point. A disappointing appearance from him. His fullback partner of Trent Alexander-Arnold is really outperforming him currently. I know Robertson had those couple of game weeks where he was playing better, but it seems to have dropped off again, and Trent is the one you want to own. Robertson still got forward quite a bit in the Everton fixture, but not as much as Trent Alexander-Arnold, and it always seems that Trent usually puts a cross in a lot more, or decides to take on a defender a lot more than Robertson. He usually is quite comfortable with just playing it and passing it back to a Sadio Mane or a player like that. So 1 point. Unfortunately, I'm just going to have to hold on to Robbo, as I don't think it's worth the sideways move from Robertson to Trent Alexander-Arnold, especially when I do have other fires to put out. But then we have Lundstrom against Newcastle as well tonight. Basically everyone owns him, so I don't think that's going to be too much of a rank boost unless most people did bench him. But I think that Newcastle fixture is going to be quite nice, and hopefully he does get some attacking returns as well tonight. But then we have Soyuncu with 5 points. He did pick up a yellow card quite early on, but I'm really happy with keeping a clean sheet. Leicester has shown that they're really good defensively this season, and I think they have the most clean sheets out of any team, if I'm not mistaken. They might be tied with another team, but Soyuncu looking great, and with those very nice fixtures coming up, I'm hoping that he still does quite well. We saw the likes of Chilwell missing out and the likes of Evans picking up an assist, so I'm happy to see that that trend of owning the worst Leicester option every single game week defensively has come back to haunt me after transferring the likes of Pereira out. But with Soyuncu, you get what you pay for. A clean sheet, not too many attacking returns, but I don't really mind that. Going on to my punt of the week. I know a lot of people, a lot of eyebrows were raised when I did make this transfer. I brought in Perez for Hayden. I had enough money from the likes of downgrading Abraham to Ings, so I really wanted to take a 3 game week punt, and as you can see, I took it on Perez. I thought that they would absolutely demolish Watford, which they did not, but the 3 game week punt was going to be the Watford fixture, the Aston Villa, and then the Norwich game, and then I would transfer Perez out maybe on wildcard. So that's what my mindset was kind of in, and to see him being substituted at the half-time mark was highly disappointing. I knew that he would probably only get about 60 minutes, and to be honest, I was kind of expecting him to be benched this game week, so I was happy that he managed to get 45 minutes on the field, but that was not enough to get an attacking return there. I just thought that the Watford game versus Leicester would demolish them, as I said, so I took a little bit of a punt on there. Unfortunately, it didn't really work out, so I'm looked like quite a fool for making that transfer, and I will admit that it does look like quite a bad one. We'll talk about what I'm going to be doing with Perez later on in the video when we talk about my squad for game week 16, but otherwise let's get on to De Bruyne and Sterling, both with 3 points. Highly disappointing that Man City managed to score so many goals, but the likes of De Bruyne and Sterling weren't involved in any. It's proving quite annoying owning these two, especially the likes of Sterling, where he costs so much but is not returning the points that he should be. It's a little bit of a sticky situation that we'll talk about in the transfer options and how I'm going to be dealing with it. We have Mount, who I managed to keep. I had faith in him to start the game week, so I was really happy that he managed to pick up a goal, and my patience kind of repaid with him. I think that Mount will start the next couple of game weeks. I think that he might be rested in that Champions League fixture, hopefully, so looks good for the future, and I'm just hoping that maybe Mount is enough coverage for Abraham, but I don't really think so. We saw last night that Abraham managed to pick up a goal and an assist, so I think that Mount will be fine, and with the upcoming Chelsea fixtures, looks like quite a good option. Then we go into probably my highest disappointment of the game week. Mohamed Salah on the bench, did not even come on for a substitute appearance. I don't really understand what happened against Everton. He was taken off about the 60-minute mark against Brighton, so I thought he was almost assured to start against Everton, and that's why I did not make the transfer from Salah to Mane. But then for him to be rested and then benched for an entire game is quite surprising to me, and it also puts us in a tough spot, as it looks like he should be playing against Bournemouth, so I don't really know what to do with him. But with Salah, it seems the better option was Mane, hands down, and it looks like quite a mistake of not jumping on that bandwagon when Mane started scoring a lot more than Salah, so Looks like I'm going to be having to stick with him, but I could make that change to Mane, but we'll talk about that later. We do have the captain, Vardy, with 5 points there. I thought he was extremely unlucky not to get a penalty. He was actually booked for diving, and I don't understand how VAR did not give the penalty and rescind that yellow card, as it was a clear penalty for me. But 5 points, managed to get in a goal. I thought that he would really get a lot more against Watford, but that was not the case. But I guess we can't really be too mad if our captain does return. Wasn't the best captaincy option this week, but in my squad there wasn't too many others, so I am still happy with the return. And Vardy looks like a very safe captaincy option game in and game out, as he looks like he's going to be quite consistent. Then we have Danny Ings, probably my hero of the game week, returned another 9 points. He seems to love a goal and 3 bonus points, so really happy that he managed to score against Norwich. I guess we could have expected more, but I'm really happy with 9 points. The Abraham to Ings transfer has paid off. I think we got about a 5 net gain, so you can kind of argue if that's worth the transfer, but I do think that Ings has the potential to carry on this goal scoring threat, and he is usually substituted towards the end of the game, so is getting a little bit more rest than other players. But really happy with how Ings has been performing, and I'm just hoping he can keep it up in these next 2 game weeks. Then we have the likes of Ake on the bench, who will be coming on for SALAH. Only 2 points. I wasn't expecting much from him, that's why I benched him. And Bournemouth overall were very disappointing against Crystal Palace. They played against 10 men for about 60 minutes, and they weren't even able to get a goal. So highly disappointed with Ake. When he did get that red card, when Saka was sent off, I was kind of hoping that Ake would manage to get a clean sheet, as I had a sneaky suspicion that the likes of Sterling was going to be benched, but it was SALAH in fact, but that doesn't really change anything. I knew that he was going to be coming on, but quite disappointing. Then we got to the likes of Greenwood, who started up front against Spurs, was kind of thrown into the deep end there, so wasn't really expecting much from him, but he did kind of complement the likes of Rashford quite well, so we could maybe see Greenwood filling in that number 9 slot for Manchester United if they do need him and the likes of Martial is injured. Otherwise, Lascelles won't play tonight as he is injured, but let's get on to how my squad is looking for next game week. So as you can see on screen here, we are having a lot of away games. We have Matt Ryan against Wolves, a better fixture than the top 6 opposition he has been facing, and I'm just hoping that he can kind of get another clean sheet here, as the likes of Guaita looks like a good option, and I probably should have moved him on for him. The likes of the rest of the defense is Robertson against Bournemouth. Bournemouth looked shocking against Crystal Palace, but watch them score against Liverpool. Probably going to be a 3-1 or 2-1 victory for Liverpool there, and it's going to be quite a bad goal to concede. But I'm just hoping that Robertson can kind of rebound off this bad form that he's been carrying, hopefully get a clean sheet, and hopefully attacking return to kind of keep up with that assist race that he's got on with Trent Alexander-Arnold. Then we have Lundstrom against Norwich. This should be a good game for Sheffield United. Norwich have looked better attacking wise recently, but I do think that Sheffield United should be able to maybe keep the clean sheet and maybe get an attacking return here from Lundstrom, but we'll see how he does perform tonight against Newcastle. Then you have Soyuncu against Aston Villa. This is a tough game for Leicester. I do think that Aston Villa have shown that they are a better side than most people thought, and I do think that they probably will score at home. So I'm kind of debating what to do with Soyuncu, maybe bench him, maybe play the likes of Perez, but I don't really know yet, but hopefully closer to the deadline we'll get a little bit more assurance of what I will do. Then I do have the likes of Lascelles on the field. This is simply just to show that if I'm probably going to be making a defensive transfer this week, I will play them. I'll probably be benching Perez, so I wanted to indicate this on my team selection for you guys. So Lascelles will probably be transferred out, or Ake will be, and they will be playing over the likes of Perez. I just want to assess the situation with Perez a little bit. I think that he might be benched this week, and I just want to get a clear indication before that Norwich fixture what Perez is doing. If Perez does play against Aston Villa, I'll be assured of starting him in that Norwich game. Otherwise, I'll be playing probably who I transfer in. But for this game week, I'm pretty much, this is going to be the lineup, just minus Lascelles, and bring in whoever I talk about in the transfers. Going on to midfield, De Bruyne and Sterling against United. This is a must-win game for Man City to keep that pressure on Liverpool, and I do think they will do it. I think if this game was against Manchester United at Old Trafford, it's another story, but the fact that it is at the Etihad brings some hope for me, and I'm just hoping that Sterling and De Bruyne can repay me for my patience, especially Sterling, and I hope that he does get me some points. We do have the likes of Mount against Everton. Everton looking quite shocking, and I do think that Marco Silva will probably be sacked by game week 16, so keep an eye out for that. I hope that maybe he does continue the game, and then it should be quite an easy win for Chelsea. But touch wood that I haven't just jinxed it there, but I do have faith with Mount. Hopefully he does start, and then we could be looking at some attacking returns. Then we have the likes of SALAH against Bournemouth. So I spoke about him being benched against Everton. Probably means that he's going to be playing against Bournemouth, as I don't think that Klopp can afford to bench him and kind of get him out of form that much. So currently, he is my captain. This is purely just from a differential point of view. A lot of people have transferred SALAH out, and I don't think many people are going to be captaining him. So I think this is a game week to maybe look at a differential captain. I do think that Aston Villa game is going to be quite tough for Leicester, and Vardy hasn't been exactly lighting up the world with a lot of chances and that kind of thing. So I'm currently on SALAH. This could all change. I will probably be doing a deadline stream for the deadline with Dayvy, as we usually do on a Saturday morning or afternoon. So keep an eye out for that for the final decision. But currently I am on SALAH. The likes of Vardy might be a safer option. He probably will score, but I do think SALAH against Bournemouth has a higher ceiling. I think that Vardy will probably get one goal against Aston Villa, and that will probably be good enough for a captain option. But as I said, just want to be a little bit differential this game week. Then we have Danny Ings against Newcastle. Tougher game. It is an away fixture. Newcastle are better at home, but I think that Danny Ings can still do something, and I hopefully continues this consistent run of scoring in basically every game. Then the likes of the bench. I already spoke about Perez. I'm quite comfortable with benching him this game week and then assessing the situation going into the Norwich away game. With the likes of Greenwood, probably won't play him against Man City. That's kind of a tough game, and a little bit of an ask there from the youngster. And then Ake against Liverpool, I definitely won't be playing him. But let's get on to my transfer thoughts for this upcoming game week. So as I said, I am going to be making a defensive switch. So I've got three options here. If I do transfer out the likes of Lascelles, I will be bringing in Kelly. There's some great fixtures coming up, and with Ward being injured till the new year, he's going to be a set start in that lineup. And Crystal Palace have been defending quite well. My only worry is they have got a lot of defensive injuries, so just going to be assessing that situation in the press conference. But if I do transfer the likes of Ake out, I'll be looking at Serge Aurier or Baldock. Baldock can be changed for anyone like O'Connell. I'll be assessing tonight how they do and then making a decision on that. But with the likes of Aurier, the Burnley at home fixture is quite a nice one defensively, I think. And I think that he always offers that attacking return. And he comes in quite cheap at 4.9 million for a potential top 6 side. So these are my transfer options. Stay tuned to Twitter at DayvyFPL and the stream deadline with Dayvy. That's probably going to start an hour before the deadline for the final team. Follow me on Twitter, as I said, for updates. Otherwise, subscribe if you're new and have not subscribed yet. And please like the video if you did enjoy. Otherwise, I'm going to be signing off. This has been Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.